this engine, from the last time we mocked it up and set it in on its factory mounts, it was too high, it was too far forward, and it is really close. I think these mounts that we have coming will hold this engine down. If not, I may have to put a strap on it just so it doesn't, I don't know how much it's going to move, but it's close. You're able to get the covers on and off, so I'm okay with that. But this engine is down and back as far as I can get it. And the cool part, or one of the cool parts, is the transmission. It's all painted up. I'll show you. I got it mated and it's in there, and I had the trans mount almost finished, but it's holding it up. Right now this thing's resting on what it's supposed to be resting on. So we'll change the mounts when the good ones arrive. I have some mocked up ones in there. I went and got some generic Summit Racing ones, and I basically cut them and welded them and changed them so that they're holding up the engine. And there's a little spacer in there where the rubber isolator is going to go. But they're in within an inch of where it's going to be, and the cross member to the transmission slides back and forth. So as of right now, I have a little bit of flexibility for when the good mounts arrive. But for right now, it's sitting on engine mounts and a cross member the way it's supposed to. Like, it lives there. That's where it lives. So I'll show you the trans with the camera. I'll go around and give you a little view of it because it's sweet. About this and this. This is the fuel pump assembly for the stock 2014 F150 that some of this stuff come out of. And while this does have a spring on it, it doesn't go down far enough to get it inside of that tank. But if you do the math, you can see taking out this much and changing these rods, this whole thing comes apart. You can change these rods and these springs, and I'm going to do that. And getting this down to just under 8 inches, which is what we have here. The sending unit that's in here will take that out, and then there's an adapter plate for the top that I'll either make or order from that place in Canada, because they do already sell it. It's just a matter of getting a hold of them, placing the order, finding out what the status is. I've had a little bit of a delay on a few things, but that's also the plan for today. If I can get this modified and dropped and cut open so that it'll fit in there, I'll be in good condition. I've started to plug some of this stuff in. It's pretty straightforward. You have the ECU plugs, everything is marked. You've got your O2 sensors that drag themselves down there. You've got a few blind ends. This goes to the power distribution block. It's all really straightforward. You've got over here, just for example, it tells you what everything is, and I still have to go through the instructions again, but alternator, mass airflow meter, that's for an intercooler pump, 5.4 liter only. You got your basic grounds. These are your O2 sensors left and right, so that wire will get fished down. I'll probably mount this up here somewhere, maybe on a fender well. It's pretty much foolproof. Cross our fingers, yeah? I can't fill it with oil and even connect a temporary fuel system and start it because there's no oil filter relocating plate yet. I'm still waiting on it. So it seems like the story of every build, just waiting on shit. Cooling fan. This here is real interesting. Boss control pack, 12 volt run and start, 12 volt start, fuel pump. All of this stuff is right here. So basically once you, I mean this is all that runs this whole thing. It's got a tack lead. So yeah, should be good. I want to talk for a moment about this air box. I love it, and it takes a stock air filter and the mass airflow is properly mounted for performance proper. I like it, but it is huge. you know those fender wells inside of there are giant, and I may have to alter the fender well to get this box to fit. So I kind of got to get permission from the truck owner to find out if I'm going to be cutting that, because it sure looks like it. It's okay, I know how to change this tube to get it to properly perform, but it is a ton more work. I just as soon use this if I can, so we'll see how that goes. This package and another one came from Canada and Sean Highland Motorsports. They make some of the coolest products out for the Coyote builds. They make mounts for rat rod assembly or generic hot rod application. And their steel mounts, I was waiting on, they're awesome. They are exactly what you want. They come with a billet rubber isolator, and these are going on tomorrow. I have a pair of them. They're steel, and they're for pretty much, they make this engine mount at a right angle to the frame, so you can use it on anything. And that's really good. So I've been waiting on these. Thank you, Sean Highland Motorsports. They shipped them quick. They came from Canada. Not only that, this is another one of the kick-ass things I was waiting on. And other people make it, but it's kind of a one-stop shop, those guys. And this here is, normally on this engine there's an oil cooler that goes towards the front. And what it does is it warms the oil. It also helps the engine warm up a little faster. This is it won't fit in this application. So this is a relocator kit, basically, with O-rings and bolts that mounts the filter, and it points it out of the way towards the back. And it is a very nice CNC made billet piece of equipment that I am so happy to have. So what else do we get in here? We got this. Remember at the beginning of this build we were concerned about power steering and how it's going to operate that rack that came from the Crown Vic. Well, it just so happens that they sell a pump with a billet pulley on it that takes care of that problem. And this one, get out your wallet, but regardless, it exists, and that's half the battle, you know. There's the brackets and spacers to make it work, and the way they package it and give you instructions. You really, if you're putting these engines in anything, this is a great company. I'm very happy. I feel like I'm doing a commercial for them, but the reality of it is, I've looked all over the internet, and there's some people that do it, but it's not this. So very grateful, and we paid out the nose, but they did ship it quick. So we're pretty happy about that. We got some other stuff coming. The next thing was, look at here, some oil for this motor, which means once I bolt that filter kit on, I can fill this up with oil, basically plug the rest of this stuff in, and I can either twist two wires together or touch a button, however I decide to do it, and at least fire this engine, get it to make noise. That's exciting. The fuel system's not done, you saw that. So, but yeah, I thought I'd come out because parts came today and they're going to be coming over the next couple of days, so I'll be out here working and we'll get some more to this video. Stay tuned. You want to know what's great about Cleveland, Ohio? Not much. We had 6 inches of snow the day before yesterday, and it was freezing cold, and now it's at least warmed up to where I can open the doors and I don't need the heaters running full blast. But I mean, come on, you know, it's spring. Let's go. Let's get this show on the road. I'm done with this snow. I was planning on doing a startup of the engine today, and really I could run fuel to this and connect the blunt end leads and hit the starter and see what happens. But the reality is, in this installation manual, it tells me how to do this returnless fuel system and give it a return line. Now initially I was going to cut one in so that, like a normal return system, it goes through, uses whatever pressure it needs, and then the rest just kind of goes to the back. Well, this one doesn't do that. This is a returnless system rail that we're going to leave intact according to this diagram, which this thing's awesome. I don't have to think about it. This fuel pressure regulator not included in kit. I have to order it. That's what's going to stop me from firing this. But I already have it bookmarked in my computer, so I know which one it is. And if you really need to know, I can put it in the comments later of this video. But this diagram's all over the internet. I've seen it before. And until I got to this page of the installation manual, I really didn't notice that that is the exact same one I was planning on using. So I will fire it, but I'm going to need to order that. Meanwhile, that's about as far as I can go for today. I think I'll mess around with either some of the fabricating or some of the wire layouts, but there you are. And don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. Quick update. The weather finally warmed up enough to where I can work with the doors open and a t-shirt. Anyways, these headers were an eBay buy. Normally they're like $1,200. We got them for way less because they're damaged. I cut out a section and I'm just now getting this section out. And what's going to happen is I'm going to obviously repair the smashed sections, but it's good because the part that hits the motor mounts and the frame is part of what's damaged. So I'm able to solve that and repair it. 2 birds, 1 stone and all that. So that's what I'm stoked on. I got this cut. I just got to pry it out of here. Yeah, you think that was damaged? Look at that, huh? Anyways, I'll solve this and we'll repair that and repair this, but also leave clearance for the new motor mounts. And I'll give you a quick show of what that is. Hang on a sec. What you're looking at here is BBK long tube headers. We're putting these on, and I'm glad that I waited to do the final Sean Highland Motorsports mounts because I had to move the engine a little bit, but that's all right. My trans mount slides back and forth. I can do whatever I want with it, and I'm making a little modifications to the steering side. But one little hurdle that we had once we put these headers on was I had to remove the old I-beam suspension connectors that were riveted, hot riveted, to this frame in the 60s. And if you've ever ground those off, you don't just grind one side and... I think that was a Hemi. You don't just grind one side and pound them out. I'll show you here. I'll pan that way. You'll see what I mean. These were mounted to the frame. They used to hold the I-beam suspension. And these hot rivets, boy, I had to work my ass off to get those out. Long tube headers and aftermarket motor mounts and some crash damage from the headers where we got them. Some modifications required. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a little bit of creativity here, but it'll be worth it. That's no problem. I mean, it's connected dots at this point. Here to here, here to here. There's gonna be a little bit of a loop, but it's okay. There'll be room. Everything's gonna work. It's gonna be cool. Tomorrow's another day. Today I'm dealing with clearance issues. I'm making room for these headers. It's in. I mean, it's gonna fit. We're good. I gotta modify the headers a little bit, but yeah, it's going. All I have to do is take this pipe and connect it to that one, and take this pipe and connect it to that one, going up and around this motor mount. Then this thing, it is where it is. It lives where it lives. Right here, this one I didn't need to modify at all. I was able to clearance the edge of the frame rail by, like, 3/8 of an inch in one spot, and I was able to get it in. So that's it. So today was pretty productive. I was able to get the transmission mounted on its rubber isolator factory mount on the cross member. It's where it's going to live. That's it. I have the engine sitting on its rubber motor mounts, and it's bolted through. It lives where it lives. That's it. So this thing is permanently positioned. All I have to do is plumb it, wire it, and fire it. So that's what I'm looking at next over the next couple of days. I was able to get everything painted. I still have a bracket to make for the alternator. I still have to order the belts. There will be an air conditioner here at some point, but for right now it's going to run with no AC. And I got the headers in. Everything is in where it goes, and I'm pretty stoked. So it was a very productive couple of days, and I have to stop because the footage I have so much of it, I got to go through and see what's left. But I'm going to leave it there for a couple of days. Next time you see this, hopefully it'll be making a lot of noise. So keep the builds going and the beer flowing. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to subscribe to the channel, like and comment at the bottom, and if there's anything I can do to help, by all means, go ahead and ask, and we'll have a awesome, thunderous build coming soon. Stay tuned.